Alexander Hamilton Bullock, March 2, 1816 – January 17, 1882, was an American lawyer, politician, and businessman from Massachusetts. First a Whig and then a Republican. He served 3 terms, 1866 to 69, as the 26th governor of Massachusetts. He was actively opposed to the expansion of slavery before the American Civil War, playing a major role in the New England Emigrant Aid Society, founded in 1855 to settle the Kansas Territory with abolitionists. He was for many years involved in the insurance industry in Worcester, where he also served 1 term as mayor. Bullock was educated as a lawyer, and married into the wealthy Hazard family of arms manufacturers, becoming one of the state's wealthiest men. He served in the state legislature during the war, and was active in recruiting for the war effort. He was an advocate of temperance, and of the expansion of railroads in the state. Early years. Alexander Hamilton Bullock was born on March 2, 1816 in Royalston, Massachusetts, the son of Sarah Davis and Rufus Bullock. His father was a merchant and farmer who also owned a small mill and was active in local politics. He attended the local schools before going to Leicester Academy. Bullock graduated from Amherst College in 1836 and from Harvard Law School in 1840. He was then admitted to the Massachusetts bar and joined the law practice of Emery Washburn in Worcester. However, he drifted away from the law, becoming involved in the insurance business as an agent. He eventually joined the State Mutual Life Assurance Company, which had John Davis as its first president. In 1842, Bullock became active in political and public service. He served as a military assistant to John Davis, who was governor of Massachusetts that year, after which he was frequently referred to as Colonel Bullock. In that year he also became editor of the National Aegis, a Whig newspaper with which he would remain associated for many years. In 1844 Bullock married Elvira Hazard, daughter of Augustus George Hazard of Enfield, Connecticut. They had 3 children, including explorer Fanny Bullock Workman. Elvira's father was owner of a major munitions factory, and upon his death in 1868, the Bullocks inherited a significant fortune, becoming one of the wealthiest families in the state. Massachusetts legislature. Bullock was first elected to the Massachusetts House of Representatives as a Whig in 1844, serving until 1848. For 2 years he was chairman of the Judiciary Committee. In 1849 he served in the Massachusetts Senate. In 1854, Bullock became a principal in the New England Emigrant Aid Company, established by Eli Thayer to send anti-slavery settlers to the Kansas Territory after the Kansas-Nebraska Act specified that slavery in the territory was to be determined by popular sovereignty. Worcester politics. When Worcester was chartered as a city in 1848, Bullock was elected to serve on its inaugural Common Council. He first ran for mayor of Worcester in 1853, but lost the election. In 1859, he was elected mayor of Worcester, narrowly defeating Republican William W. Rice. During his 1-year term he donated his $1,000 salary to the awarding of medals to recognized students in the city's schools. The city authorized the establishment of a public library, and acquired the land for its construction. He did not stand for re-election in 1860. Bullock was elected a member of the Worcester-based American Antiquarian Society in 1855. Civil War. In 1861 Bullock was again elected to the state legislature, serving until 1866. Bullock was elected Speaker of the House in January 1862, serving in that role until 1865 with near-unanimous support. He was energetic in recruitment of troops for the Union Army, and was diligent in the oversight of the state's finances during the conflict. He supported labor reforms, in particular legislation limiting the length of the workday, although such legislation would not be enacted in the state until 1874, when a 10-hour workday was mandated, albeit with significant loopholes. Governor of Massachusetts. Bullock received the Republican Party nomination for governor in 1865 after John A. Andrew decided not to stand for re-election. Bullock defeated Civil War General Darius Couch in the general election, and served 3 consecutive one-year terms. Bullock was a member of an informal group of Republicans known as the Bird Club, for its organizer, paper magnate Francis W. Bird, which effectively controlled the state Republican Party organization and dominated the state's elected offices into the 1870s. During his tenure he improved the state's finances, reducing war-related debts. Bullock was an outspoken advocate of women's suffrage, although the more conservative legislature never enacted enabling legislation. He also favored state support for railroads, signing bills providing loans totaling $6 million to the Troy and Greenfield Railroad for the construction of the Hoosac Tunnel in each of his terms. He was also responsible for hiring Benjamin Latrobe, Jr., to oversee the work on that troubled project. One of the more contentious issues during Bullock's tenure was the state's alcohol prohibition law, which had been enacted in the 1850s, and which politically divided the otherwise dominant Republicans. Easing of either the law's strict rules or their enforcement was regularly debated in the legislature. Bullock, in contrast to the laissez-faire approach of Andrew before him, enforced the prohibition law more strictly than any other governor of the period. This policy was probably responsible for the declining margins of victory in his 3 elections. In 1868, legislative proponents of relaxed rules secured passage of a law abolishing the state police, who were tasked with the law's enforcement. Bullock vetoed this bill, pointing out that the state police performed other vital functions. At the same time, a law replacing abolition with a licensing scheme was passed. Bullock allowed this bill to become law without his signature. In 1869, a more conservative legislature restored the previous prohibition statute. Bullock declined to run for re-election in 1868, promoting Henry L. Dawes as his successor. Opposing Dawes for the Republican nomination was George F. Loring, a protégé of Benjamin Franklin Butler. Bullock's mentor Francis Bird worked behind the scenes to secure their nomination instead for William Claflin, who went on to win the election. Later years, after leaving office, Bullock returned to the insurance business, in which he remained until the end of his life. He refused repeated offers to stand for the United States Congress, and in 1879 turned down an offer by President Rutherford B. Hayes of the ambassadorship to the United Kingdom. In early January 1882, he was elected president of the State Mutual Life Assurance Company, but died quite suddenly in Worcester on January 17, 1882. He was buried in Worcester's Rural Cemetery. Notes. Bam. Dale. 1984. The Civil War Party System. The Case of Massachusetts. 1848–1876. Chapel Hill, N.C. University of North Carolina Press. ISBN 9780807815885. OCLC 9970596. Blewett, Mary. 2000. Constant Turmoil. The Politics of Industrial Life in Nineteenth-Century New England. Amherst, M.A. University of Massachusetts Press. ISBN 97815584594922394. OCLC 247,898,378. Crane, Ellery Bicknell, 1907. Historic Homes and Institutions and Genealogical and Personal Memoirs of Worcester County, Massachusetts. With a History of Worcester Society of Antiquity. Volume 1. New York. Lewis Publishing. OCLC 35,865,737. Devons, Charles. 1887. Memoir of Alexander H. Bullock. Cambridge. M.A. J. Wilson and Son. OCLC 19,536,456. James. Edward. ed. 2004. Notable American Women. 1607 to 1950. A Biographical Dictionary. Volume 1. Cambridge. M.A. Belknap Press. ISBN 9780674627345. OCLC 254741043. Montgomery, David. 1967. Beyond Equality. Labor and the Radical Republicans. 1862–1872. Urbana, Ill. University of Illinois Press. ISBN 9780252008696. OCLC 256374336. Moore, James. 1976. Radical Republicans in the North. State Politics During Reconstruction. Baltimore. M.D. Johns Hopkins University Press. ISBN 9780801817748. OCLC 1959465. Nutt, Charles. 1919. History of Worcester and Its People. Volume 3. New York. Lewis Historical Publishing Company. OCLC 3257562. Pauly, Thomas. 2012. Games Faces. 5 Early American Champions and the Sports They Changed. Lincoln. NE. University of Nebraska Press. ISBN 9780803240513. OCLC 795120088. Rice, Franklin Pierce. ed. 1899. Worcester of 1898. Worcester. M.A. F. S. Blanchard & Co. OCLC 220852111. Schexnayder, Cliff. 2015. Builders of the Hoosac Tunnel. Lebanon. N.H. Peter E. Randall. ISBN 9781942155089. OCLC 907190249. Spencer, Thomas. 1998. Where the Buried. Baltimore. M.D. Clearfield Co. ISBN 9780806348230. OCLC 40245482. Media related to Alexander H. Bullock at Wikimedia Commons.